question for you guys. When you think about beauty, what comes to mind? I bet you that you're not thinking about art, you're not thinking about house, you're not thinking about infrastructure, you're not thinking about anything that is beauty in the real sense of beauty. I can assure you 100% that when I ask that question, what came to your mind is a beautiful person, and more especially a woman. Of course, there are certain things in life that makes you very uncomfortable. So we seem to find a reason for the things that we don't like. We make it an issue of beauty and ugliness, or thin or slim and ugly. So a while back, when I was in secondary school, something had happened one time where I felt like, or maybe if I kept quiet or if I wasn't talking too much, maybe I'll be considered as beautiful, or I'll be considered as more feminine, or if I allow myself to be a bit of a pushover, maybe people would not look at me and think, oh, why are you so hard? Or if I wasn't very opinionated in the way that I would have opinions or pass across my ideas or argument, maybe people will look at me and think, oh, you're actually very fine, or oh, you're actually very feminine. Which I came to find out that it is people's or the society's way of sort of labeling things. So if something becomes weird for people, or it becomes uncomfortable for people, they find a label for it, or they make it seem like you are lesser of this thing because you're not conforming in a way that they assume that certain people are supposed to behave or act. Increasingly, every day, I'm finding out that we're sort of thinking in a way that is very foolish, right? And it is that when you see a person that is fine, you automatically think, oh, this person cannot be a criminal, or this person cannot run the streets. You are more likely to trust a person who is fine or who has a certain aesthetic than a person who is rough. Say, for instance, you come into an office, you would most likely go and meet the person who is more. I think that sometimes we think we are independent thinkers in the things that we like, in our preferences for men, in the things that we find attractive, in the things that we find beauty in. I like to believe that these ideas have been pushed down onto us by the society. And so that is why increasingly we are finding that people are trying to change who they are, or who they genuinely want to be, because the world is not accepting a certain kind of people. A lot more people are having a demand for cosmetic changes, or the way that they would want to appear. Oh, I don't want to carry my low cost so that people don't think that I am poor. Or oh, I don't want to go out in a certain way so that people wouldn't think that I'm not as woke. Or if I carry my natural hair to work, how they're going to look at me. People generally assume I am not civilized, or so to speak, don't know anything just because, oh, I'm on natural hair and I like to pack my natural hair to work. Anyway, so I'm talking about this because I think that in this era, we are now associating a lot of morality or ethics with the way that people look. And in a way that it no longer makes it seem like, oh, this is just aesthetic we're talking about. It now boils down to, oh, I think a person who is fat is very indisciplined, or a person who is fat is lazy, or a person who is fat is, all the negatives. Whereas we ascribe all this positive behavior to, or with a person who is beautiful, who is slimmer, because you think if they are this slim or they are this in shape, it means they are not as lazy. It means they are very disciplined, and it means that they can be trustworthy, which is all a hula baloo. And genuinely, I think that even that in itself is influenced by society, which is why a lot more women are going for the BBLs, the butt lifts, the chin lift, and all of those things, basically because of society's perception of beauty and people's way of looking at them, because they think, oh, this person must be a certain way, or this person must have this sort of moral compass if they are this way. So I said this thing a while back. I think during the election when we had this lady who was representing, who came out, I think, for a state in the north, I think. And then we had a lady in the Lorraine House of Rep, and then people were, instead of people attacking their character, you would always find that there is a perception of beauty for women. So when you go online sometimes and you see something that you don't like, or somebody says something to challenge you as a way to say, oh, why would you say that? Or why are you talking about this in this way? And a person challenges you. Why is it that the first thing that we go and do is look at the person's profile picture? And then the insult is either leaning towards, oh, look how ugly you are, or look how unkept you are, or look, is a person with natural hair, or look at how they dress, the person is such a prude. Why do we feel the need to attack or judge a person based on their appearance or physical appearance? Why do we do that? Today's conversation is not really about, oh, don't do beautiful things, don't look good or whatever. But I want to put it to you guys that half the time the things that you like are not actually what you like. Because we are not as independent thinkers as we would like to believe. Most of the things that we think we like are influenced by society or by the people around us. If you say that you like a slim person or a person that is small, and then one day you wake up and you're like, oh, maybe I want bum now, it's not actually what you want. Or you used to like a person who is dark, and then one day you wake up and you're finding somebody who is light skinned more attractive. What has happened is society's way of pushing certain things down our throats and making it seem like what is acceptable, what is the norm. And so that's why increasingly we are finding out that a lot more people are trying to go get one cosmetic surgery or the other as a way to conform to these things that we have ascribed as a way to say this is what we think is beautiful, or this is the standard of beauty that we're leaning into. So I was saying earlier that during the election period, you find that while the male counterparts were being attacked by their previous work or what they did or did not do in the office, female politicians are being attacked based off of their looks or their entire branding of how they look and all of that. So you find that women who go into politics have to look a certain type of way because they know 100% that these people, you and me out there, are going to be judging them based on their appearance and not necessarily on whether they can do this job or not. And it is also the same reason why two people will go for an interview and a person will be picked over another because maybe that person has a prettier face or the person has a better aesthetic for the office. And this has happened to many people that I know, right? We give jobs, even as far as giving jobs to people we consider to be a lot more intelligent than others, because how dare she have natural hair with a face without makeup and come into this establishment to ask for employment? Or things like, how dare she be this fat and be with a person who is this handsome? How dare she behave this sort of way? Oh, it's not like I hate her, it's just because I think it's unhealthy. She may be obese, so maybe she should go to the hospital. I put it to you that you actually don't care about those people. You don't give two jacks about, oh, there might be peer pressure, they might be under this and that. You actually don't care about them. What you do care about is the fact that this person can be this way, not so good looking, and have a job that is better than yours. Or how this person can be this big and have so many good things happening for them. So as a society, I would like us to be truthful to ourselves, right? When something makes you uncomfortable, ask yourself, why is this thing paining me? Why is it paining me? Is it because of where I am, or this advice I'm dishing out to a person that she's too big, she needs to exercise? Is it because I feel so terrible about myself? And instead of saying the truth about that, I'd rather attack a person's appearance and think, how dare she be this big and she's dancing on the internet? And I think it is the same thing that accounts for several hateful comments on the internet. If you start feeling uncomfortable about a person's appearance, think again. What is informing that your decision you have arrived at? Is it really because you give two fucks about them? Or is this really about you thinking, oh, how dare she or how dare he? You're going to keep ascribing morality to things that are beautiful and slimmer instead of um, taking out the beauty and looking at these things for what it is. Some persons are still going to be looking at beauty and thinking intelligent, thinking hardworking, thinking trustworthy. Whereas sometimes it's not really about the outward appearance, but more so what does that person have in their brain? How hardworking is this person? And I think this thing is rooted in our psychology, and it's not something that will go away anytime soon because cosmetic companies are playing into this and we are continuously buying into it. When you start to feel somehow about a person, truthfully and really ask yourself, why does this thing make me feel somehow? Before you type a hateful comment to somebody on the internet or ascribe a certain negative emotion to a person who is on the big side, think again. Am I dishing out this advice because this person really needs it? Or am I dishing out this hateful comments under the shroud of advice because I actually don't like myself and I don't like the fact that this person can be this big and still be happy with themselves? Anyway, that's where I end today's conversation. We no longer ascribe beauty for what it is. We have now ascribed it to ethics and morality, and it's just very bizarre. And it's increasingly making people go the extreme mile to do certain things to enhance their look or enhance what they think is society's acceptance of beauty. Anyway, see you in my next video. Bye bye.